Boy, you had me from the start. By the way you stare, the way you rolled up for me, yeah. Man, I felt your energy. Wasn't used to being loved and treated differently, yeah. But something went wrong, the signals got crossed, and now we're on completely different pages. Let's go where we were, where no one gets hurt. Baby, keep it right there, don't you stress the flow. You're trying to pick the pace up, we should take it slow. Baby, keep your focus, don't you make me change my mind. If you love me, baby, don't you switch up the vibe. Baby, don't you, baby, don't you, baby, don't you switch up the vibe. Baby, don't you, baby, don't you, baby, don't you switch up the vibe. Boy, you take me on a trip, always up and down and back and forth in merry-go-round. I just wanna get it right, but when you go left, I'm stuck here feeling left behind. Cause something went wrong, the signals got crossed, and now we're going different directions. Let's go where we were, when no one gets hurt. Baby, keep it right there, don't you stress the flow. Trying to pick the pace up, we should take it slow. Baby, keep your focus, don't you make me change my mind. If you love me, baby, don't you switch up the vibe. Baby, don't you, baby, don't you, baby, don't you switch up the vibe. Baby, don't you, baby, don't you, baby, don't you switch up the vibe. If you love me just like you say you do, don't kill the good. If you kill him, you're gonna kill us too. Baby, keep it right there, don't you stress the flow. You're trying to pick the pace up, we should take it slow. Baby, keep your focus, don't you make me change my mind. If you love me, baby, don't you switch up the vibe. Baby, don't you, baby, don't you, baby, don't you switch up the vibe. Baby, don't you, baby, don't you, baby.
Literally, I am dying today. It's like every week I do something like actually crazy. So when Naomi's backstage going, "Oh, are you ready?" I was like, "Did everyone see me get up and leave and come back? My trousers are undone." And Naomi's like, "No, just me and Aynur."
Yeah. To be honest, I didn't see. Maybe it was just Naomi that saw.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, so funny. Anyway, guys, we're back again another week on the show. This week we're talking about something that is like, I think is so it's spoken about so little, but such a massive part of the reason as to how you end up staying in a narcissistic relationship. So I love that we're actually talking about this today. Absolutely. So before we kind of get into everything, let's just do a quick intro, because I just literally came on laughing, talking about having my trousers undone. So my name's Bianca. I am a life and business coach. Also, unfortunately, I have had narcissistic relationships from a very young age with a family member, and then subsequently, obviously, in relationships as well. And due to that, I really, really think it's important to raise awareness about narcissistic abuse, because for me, watching people on YouTube and hearing their stories and listening to like all of the things that they do in order to keep you in their hooks was the thing that actually just sparks that last little bit for me to free me. So when I was going through that scenario, I always thought to myself, if I ever get out of this, if I ever feel strong enough, I'm going to actually speak out about this and help other people as well. So that's a bit about me. And then I have a beautiful co-host.
Yeah, so my name's Aynur, everyone. I'm a life and narcissistic recovery coach. So what I kind of do is, after abusive relationships, when you kind of come out of those situations, I help to kind of rebuild people's life again. And just like Bianca, I'm a survivor of a very, very long narcissistic abusive relationship. A few of them, that is. And just like Bianca, I really just wanted to share what I wish I knew, and help as many women and men as possible to come out of those relationships and really just live the life that, you know, that we're born to live, not under anyone else's control, not under anyone else's abuse. And because I know how that feels, I don't want anyone else to go through that. So here we're just trying to raise enough awareness for people to try and get out, try and get help, understand what's happening to them. And yeah, because most of it is kind of normalized, especially when it comes to emotional and mental abuse. So I think that's our main thing, isn't it, B?
100%. We do focus a lot on that, don't we? Like on the mental and emotional side, because I think that age old, you know, you hear women say it all the time, if he hit me, I would leave. And you know what? Sometimes there's far worse things than being hit, like being devalued and degraded, lied to, manipulated. All of these things that, you know, that those things for me have long lasting effects. And I think that abusers don't always come in the shape of people who sexually abuse or physically abuse, but a lot of the time they come in the shape of just emotional manipulators, narcissists, that don't leave any visible scars on you, but the scars that they do leave run just as deep, you know. So I think that's really important. We obviously shared as well like a question with our audience of who's inspiring us the most recently. I think, you know, if I think about everything that's been happening recently, I think that just I'm very impressed and inspired at the moment by women as a whole, because I think that we are coming to a place where we're waking up to understand that this whole competitive nature that women have against each other isn't helping us at all. Not being supportive is not conducive with our survival as a gender. We need to stick together. And I think, you know, although there's been a number of, you know, tragedies that have happened, the unity that I'm seeing amongst women is very inspiring for me. And it makes me very hopeful that we will be entering into a world of a lot more empowered women. Yeah. So for me, I think that's something that's hugely inspiring, because I think we've had enough. I mean, I've been having enough for many years now, but I think everyone's had enough now. And I think everyone's kind of going around now and not apologizing about who they are. And I think it's great. I think it's great. And I think there's so much more room for powerful, confident, supportive women. So I champion that all the way.
Yeah, I agree, B. I don't think there's one person I can really pinpoint out, but like just women as a whole, like everywhere I go, everything I see now, it's just women supporting women, and I love it.
Yeah. And you know, even this that we're doing here, you know, yes, of course there are narcissistic females, and to be honest, I'm really looking forward to the day we get on a few men and speak to them about women. But you know, I am very proud that we're doing this, and we are empowering women that we know and that we don't know, and they're empowering their friends through kind of sharing what we've got going on here, so that we can make better decisions for ourselves. Because I think that, you know, one thing that I will say, and it's something that I learned on my road to healing, is that in order for us to reach an empowered state, there's a lot of accountability that we need to take as well for our own development And there's a lot of owning our own power that needs to happen, because, you know, prior to me being in a narcissistic relationship and realizing what happened and working on my codependency, I kind of had a bit of a, I wouldn't say a victim mentality, but kind of, you know, like there wasn't much I could do. Like, you know, this was how guys were, or relationships were, or, you know, this is the way things were, or, you know, well, I'm a people pleaser, so I, you know, that's how it is. No, it's not how it is. It isn't how it is. How your life is how you choose it to be. And, you know, when we realize things are harming us, and I think that's like a thing that happens a lot when people watch this, through the things we say, people realize there's things going on that are harming them. And what we're doing is we're giving them now the power to make a choice. You know, you even know that you're in a situation with someone who's love bombing you and they're narcissistic, and you leave, or you know that and you stay, but no longer, after listening to, you know, episodes that we put on, can you say, I didn't know. Okay, and our job here is to make sure you do know. So we give you all the information that, you know, enough information that you can make informed decisions with, and at least, no matter what you do, the power's back in your court. It's no longer a, you know, making unconscious decisions. So I'm quite happy about what we're doing as well. So I'm proud of us, and I'm inspired by us as well.
Yeah, definitely, B, definitely.
Yeah.
I think it's very hard to change something that you don't know is happening to you. And I know I've been in that situation. I guess that's why we're so passionate of spreading like this information and educating people, because once you know, once you can get down to the deep roots of why you're even in this situation, how it started, you know, I think that's really, really important. And I think once you know how you even ended up there in this abusive relationship, or even in an unhappy place in your life, I think then you can take responsibility and really understand and, you know, see that in a way, you know, I got myself here, I can get myself out, you know, and once you understand how you got yourself in a place, you can get yourself out that place as well. So I think, definitely taking responsibility, that is a big thing. And I'm sure we'll talk about it so much more, B, in the coming weeks.
Of course. And I think, you know, at the top end, I think what's, you know, important to say about love bombing is that, you know, everything we say here, there's probably going to be about 20 different signs, I'd say, that we're going to give you today of whether or not you're being love bombed. Yeah, I guess trigger warning. We might burst your bubble of what you think is your ideal relationship right here, right now, today. Do you get what I mean? So, you know, be open to that. If you come off, if you start listening to what we're saying and you start getting angry about it, or you start getting defensive, that's quite a good sign that we're telling the truth. Because why are you getting angry? Do you get what I mean? Why are you getting defensive? I've definitely been there myself, being like, you know, watching 20 signs and you're going through all the signs and you get to 19 and you're ticking, you know, you've got all those signs, but number 20 is wrong, and you're like, see, told you, he's not a narcissist, he is not a narcissist. So yeah, if you're watching this as well, and, you know, deep down inside you're just desperately hoping they're not a narcissist, they probably are. But it's important for you to understand that when we're talking about love bombing, you know, there is a goal to it. There is a goal to love bombing, and the goal to love bombing is for you to feel so indebted and so in love with that person that you feel like you owe them. Okay, and then when you feel like you owe them, now they can control you. Okay, so this stage of relationship is really difficult, because before I knew about love bombing, this basically sounds like what we've all been told as women should happen when we meet the one. And to add another caveat to that, it will happen when you meet the one, but it will happen in a very different way than it's happening in this scenario. Do you get what I mean? And so the difficulty with this stage is, and especially when you kind of like haven't really been working on yourself, or you don't really trust your instinct and stuff like that, the difficulty with this stage is, if you have any insecurities, you're actually seeking for someone to do these things. These things don't seem weird to you. They seem like, oh, finally, someone who is as codependent as me is actually showed up in my life, and they're just giving me everything that I've ever wanted. but there is a goal. So when you find out that there was a love bombing stage, and then there was a stage when they devalued you and degraded you, don't fall into the trap of believing that love bombing stage was the real stage. This stage we're talking about now is the start of your abuse in your relationship. This is not it's not real. Actually, it's the only fake part, to be honest. The rest of it's real. The devaluation, the degrading, all that kind of stuff is real. This bit is fake. So yeah, that's what I would definitely say at the top end. Anything you want to say at the top, eh?
Yeah, just everything you said, B, is correct. And I would just say, you know, this part of the relationship is really just to get you hooked. It's to get you addicted to, you know, when that control and that abuse does start, you know, you're going to long that person. You're going to want that person back, you know, and they're going to give it to you in drips and drabs going through that relationship.
Yeah.
And that's why they do it. They do it so intensely at the beginning that you start to fall in love with this person, you know. And, you know, once you're in love, or you really, really like this person, you feel like they understand you, you know, it's easier to manipulate someone like that. You know, it's easier for you to kind of ignore the red flags, maybe not act on them, maybe be dismissive when you really, really, you know, think you found the perfect person. It's very easy to kind of dismiss anything that's going wrong, you know. So yeah, they will do it in so many ways that I guess we thought is the normal way. We see it in films, you know, that this is what the start of a relationship should look like, and you think you've met the perfect person, and I guess, you know, like Bianca said, you don't know, but there's certain things that we're going to discuss that you can kind of look out for. So once we get into it, just try and keep them in mind, and then, you know, if that resonates, then it might be you might be in one of these relationships.
100%. So at the top end, then let's have a look at like one of the signs. So the first sign I would say that you're being love bombed is there's a lot of communication, like obsessive communication. So, you know, you speak to them all the time. They're always on your phone. They text you a lot. They call you a lot. They send you. The thing is, they're sending you lovely, sweet messages here, and you know, the phone calls are like, you know, they miss you. They wanting to get to know you. They're asking everything about you. But ultimately, it's actually too much. Like, it's to the point where you don't really get a chance to think about them because they're always on your phone or they're always sending a message. And what that does is that conditions you for them to become part of your habit. So you get used to now hearing from them. And if you don't hear from them, you will then start to reciprocate their sort of behavior. So in the beginning, it will be them chasing, and then you'll start to get addicted to that, like constant communication. So if it was withheld from you at any point, which it will be, you'll start to crave it, you know. So like, have a look at that as well. Also, hello to everyone who's watching. Yeah, please drop us a comment as well. Let us know if you've been love bombed at all, and feel free to answer us any questions because we'll answer them throughout the live as well. Okay, so yeah, so that what I would say is the first one, definitely communication. What else would you say, for another sign?
I would say, you know, maybe just the language used. So very quickly on, it will be things like "you're mine," you know, or "I love you," or, you know, "I've never met anyone like you." You know, just watch out for that language that they're using, because, you know, it will happen very, very quickly on, maybe in a matter of weeks, maybe a matter of, you know, just a month, you know, but it will happen very soon where you haven't experienced something like that before. Someone being very, very open, I guess, with their feelings, and very straightforward. You know, it might be "I love you," it might be "you're mine," it might be "I've never met anyone like you," it might be "I'm gonna make you my wife," "I'm gonna make you my girlfriend." I can see, you know, very, very, very fast, you know, in terms of that. And again, I think the difficulty is, you know, you can meet people that you fall in very fast, you know, and you can say things, but I guess look out for a couple of these signs put together, I would say. But ultimately, I can remember in my situation, it was things like "you're mine," but this was like a matter of weeks, and it's like, I'm not yours because you don't really know me, you know, but you know, in that stage of me not really loving myself, somewhat hearing that, and not resolving my, you know, childhood issues, hearing that was something that was very comforting to me. So I wanted to hear those things, you know. So I would say again, like the language used is very, very quick and fast and very excessive as well, I would say.
Yeah. Yeah, and you know, I mean, I don't want to laugh, but you just remember, don't you, like being told those things like you're mine, or like there's no one like you, there's, you know, like just you're so special in every single way, and you feel so good about it, because at the end of the day, that's not fundamentally how you generally go around feeling about yourself. So when someone that you really like says that to you, and you're in a very vulnerable place, not necessarily like outwardly, because you know, I wouldn't say for myself at that time I was outwardly in a vulnerable place. I've always been very successful, always been confident. Do you get what I mean? I've always had a certain kind of demeanor. However, there were still things that I hadn't healed within myself. And a narcissist knows what those things are, and can really, really fill that void in that love bombing stage, to where you, for the first time in your life, feel like you don't have an empty part of you. Do you get what I mean? So actually, I think and loads of people probably resonate with that as well. And to go along with it, it's not just like the language, but it's what they're saying in that, like the future faking, which is another. So let's have that as number 3 then, a future fake. So you'll find yourself having conversations about a really grand, elaborate future and dreams, and like, you know, they'll write vision boards with you together, and you'll have shared goals and stuff like that very, very early on. And it's, you know what, it's stuff that you probably told them you wanted, and some of it's very generic stuff that just women across the board who have insecurities want. Do you get what I mean? Like, it's just, they will promise you things and they'll test out what ones really get to you. So in the love bombing stage, whilst they're saying all these things and using this language, or they're future faking and saying, you know, if you're someone who wants children, we'll have children. If you're someone who wants to get married, we'll get married. They'll say all of these things to you and test your reaction. Like, what one makes you the most excited? What one do you love speaking about the most? What one, when you're in bed at night and your head's on the pillow, what one do you say, oh, you know, are you sure that one day we're going to do X, Y, Z? Because what's going to happen is later on down the line, when they degrade you or devalue you and you have enough of them, and you put your foot down, and you'll do it many times before you leave, you put your foot down, and whatever one used to make you light up inside, that is the one they'll draw for and say, you know what, let's get married now. Let's have a child now. Let's move in together now. Let's, whatever it is you wanted. Do you get what I mean? So I think that, yeah, it's the language, it's the future faking as well. What else would you say, that like, there's like a massive sign of love?
I would say there might be a story or something that, you know, they want you to rescue them from, you know. So they might tell you a childhood story, they might tell you something that they're experiencing now, some sort of difficulty in their life. And really this is a test to see how empathetic you are, you know, and how much, you know, you're going to care and, you know, express your empathy, and how, I guess, how long you're going to stick around for, you know. Like how interested you are in their story and how much you're willing to kind of rescue the person. So again, if there is a story and you feel like it is, you know, they want to be rescued in some sort of way, I would look out for that as well. In the early stages.
100%. Like, they've all got that childhood story, haven't they? That, you know, that awful mom, or that really bad dad, or, you know, a horrific story that would make you want to cry, basically, very, very early on gets close to you. And the thing is, love bombing works very well on people who are empaths, people who are codependents, people who are people pleasers, right? They tend to go for that type of person. So you're also going to be more susceptible to that, whole, you know, whatever that story is. And you're never going to think someone's going to lie about things like that. Because, like, who in the hell in the world would do that, you know? Evil narcissist is who would do it. But another thing is that, you know, although you can say they're future faking, you will actually feel like you've met your soulmate. Like, oh my God, this is the missing piece of me. I've had that my whole life. I've had that part of me my whole life that's been missing. And this person gets me like nobody else does. And so much so that I don't even think anyone will understand our relationship. Like most people that I know who've been love bombed or been out of a narcissist have a point in their relationship where they kind of don't tell people everything that's going on in their relationship because they think that no one will understand. They just won't get it. Just won't get your super duper connection, or you get what I mean? Whatever it is that's like so super special about this. What's super special about this is it's fake. Is what's super special about it. That's why it's going seamlessly well. Do you get what I mean? Because it's not actually real. But that whole feeling, it kind of makes you feel like, oh my God, this is my soulmate. And you will feel as well very protective over them if you're being love bombed, right? You'll feel like if anyone says anything about them, you'll feel like protecting them quite fiercely, which is not very normal. Do you get what I mean? It's normal in the sense that, yeah, do you defend your partner? Yes, you do. But do you become defensive defending your partner? Not really. Do you get what I mean? Like I'm in a relationship. If someone said something about my fiance, I wouldn't say I would defend him, but I wouldn't feel defensive about it because I don't need to feel defensive about it. I know who he is. Do you get what I mean? So it's kind of like, if you don't like him, that's okay. Like, because not everyone's going to like him and not everyone's going to like me. But if you're with a narcissist, it's almost like you don't have that normal filter anymore. You defend them against everyone at any cost. Do you get what I mean? And you can get into arguments with people you really care about because of this person, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
that's crazy.
Yeah. Another one I would say, I don't even know what number we're on. We're on now.
Less than 7. I don't know.
Should we say 7? Okay, cool. Another one I would say, if they start to love everything you love, if they start to like everything you like, you know, they start mirroring and start matching everything that you're doing, everything that you're loving, you know, just look out for that, because, you know, there's going to be differences when you meet someone, but there's a difference between someone, you know, just, you know, seeing what you like and almost copying that and almost having a story to everything that you've done. You know, you might have said you've gone to South America, they've been to South America. You might have said you've gone here, they've gone here. You know, and again, everything that we're mentioning, guys, it's like, these can happen in healthy relationships, these can happen in normal relationships. So look for, you know, I would say 5 of these, 4 of these, 3 of these, you know, together. But yeah, definitely, if they're mirroring and matching your actions and your words and they have a story for everything, look out for that one as well.
Exactly. Let's have a look at the comments as well now, because I think a few people are commenting. So let's have a look at those and see what's going on. Oh my God, yes, wow. I didn't realise this was a test, but that makes so much sense that they test you to see your empathy. Yeah, 100%. They need you to have empathy. People who are like empaths have such a strong pain thresholds as well, because they've dealt with so much crap. Do you know what I mean? So if you're kind of empathic, it's going to be good for those in 2 ways, because one, you'll help them, and you'll probably have quite a lot of strength because people have probably taken advantage quite a lot. Anything else? Debbie said, yeah. The thing is,
I was so protective and defensive over him. So strange that happens. Yeah, I was as well, to be fair. That was definitely me.
Yeah. That's your man, girl.
Yeah, because if I'm family new, they'll make me leave. Yeah, I agree. I was definitely like that as well, B. Oh God. Yeah, I was.
Yeah. It's crazy. Yeah. It's actually crazy because like I said, when someone is a decent person, don't defend them like that. Do you get what I mean? If someone says something about you, I would obviously say I don't agree with that. Actually, it's not my opinion. But if they want to think something and then miss out on speaking to you because they've made a poor judgment about you, that's their loss. I'm not going to argue with them about it. Do you get what I mean? It kind of is what it is, but you do that. Okay, so one of the things that we'll be going along alongside this is that everything will be going really, really well, and there kind of isn't any, even though you're looking at the communication and it's intense, there isn't a lot of communication on their end, which is hard to notice in the beginning because they do a lot of talking, they do a lot of questioning, they're very interested in you. And so sometimes when people are questioning you, you believe you're having a conversation with them, but you're not, because they're not answering your questions. And even when you ask them a question, they'll be like, listen, don't you worry about me. The most important thing in this relationship is you. So let me speak about you, because I just want to know what makes you happy. I just want to know all of these different things, right? They'll do little things as well, like you'll watch films with them and you'll notice they're watching you at different like pivotal moments in that film to see what's your reaction like. This happened, that person got killed. Does that upset her? This person done that. Does she think that's funny? Do you get what I'm saying? Literally, they clock you all the time to see how do you react. They see when people speak about family. Do your face light up? Oh, okay, your face lights up when you speak about your family. They're probably going to threaten your family when you have a problem with them, because they know that's the key to your heart. Do you get what I mean? So they're not only trying to find out what you love so that, you know, they can love bomb you. They're finding out what you love so that, again, once you pluck up that courage to leave, they're the things that are going to be in the firing line. A lot of the time when people can't leave, because they're worried about everyone else that is going to impact. Even if they're worried about, oh, that person might do something to me, and now my family are going to be upset they've done something to me. It isn't really, in the end, it's a little bit about you because you're trauma bonded to that person. But when you think about the rational reasons you're staying because you're trying to protect other people. So yeah, all of that's kind of like going on. And so the conversations are one-sided. Yeah? The conversations are one-sided. And the problem with that is when you're a people pleaser, you're used to always asking about everyone else, always doing for everyone else, always seeing if everyone else is okay. So then for once in your life, someone's come through and said, are you okay? Are you sure? You're not upset about anything? Can I do anything for you? And you're like, whoa, dumbfounded. Do you get what I mean? Because no one's ever cared about you. Well, you think they care about you, but no one's ever cared about you like that. No one cares generally what's going on with you, because you are the one who helped everyone else. So for you, it's just like heaven, and you can easily overlook the fact, hang on a minute, I'm telling everything here. I don't know this person at all. Do you get what I mean?
Absolutely, B. Yeah, that's massive. That's massive, especially the part on, you know, being a people pleaser. And when you meet someone that questions you and is so interested and wants to know everything about you, or like it is heaven to a people pleaser, to someone to really invest that time into you and love you. So yeah, I definitely relate to that one, B. Definitely.
Yeah.
Another one, guys, I would say is watch out for how their beliefs, their humor, their attitude change around different people. You know, if they're not consistent in the way they behave, how they, you know, approach people, how they treat maybe their mum, their brothers, their sisters, people that you go out and meet. Just try and notice and observe how they're moving around different people. You know, it should be consistent. You know, a polite person is a polite person to everybody. A good person is a good person to everybody. You know, it doesn't change from person to person. And if I look back, that's something that was a big thing for me, because I would be like, how comes he's screaming and shouting at that person? But at the beginning, to me, he wasn't. But you know, why would they shout one person, not the other? So, you know, really watch out for when their character changes around people as well, because it shouldn't.
Yeah, it is that. And because they literally go around, they kind of mini love bombing everyone, aren't they? That's the thing. So they're not just doing it to you. They meet your mum and they say whatever your mum wants to hear. Then they meet your brother and say whatever your brother wants to hear. And you're like, okay, so you're over there and they're like a chameleon. They're basically like a chameleon. Later on down the line, they won't be like a chameleon anymore. Actually, you'll be so concerned about how they're acting, you won't even want to bring them around people, just in case there's something horrible. But in the beginning, they're literally like, you can take them anywhere, you know? Okay, so this sign's important. Whilst all of this is going on, this love bombing, your gut will still be telling you something off, but you just won't know what it is. You won't know what it is because you don't know what narcissists are yet. And you're not really sure. You don't, all you know is you met this person. Yeah, it's going quickly. Yeah. Do you get what I mean? It's all like all of the things we've said so far. But something in you will be trying to find something. And there'll be a part of you that's kind of like, oh, I probably just am trying to sabotage it. That's why my gut's like this, that, the other. But it isn't that. Do you get what I mean? Your instinct, look, when you're trying to sabotage things and take it from a pro because they've done it, do you get what I mean? When you're trying to sabotage things, it isn't really your instinct that's telling you. Your mind is trying to create stupid shit to not get something good for yourself. Yeah. So like if you've got a goal in life and you're scared about it, like it's going to be great, it'll pay off, it'll be amazing, but you're scared, you've got this goal, you'll start in your mind going, oh, maybe something's wrong, oh, this has happened, that happened, this happened. When it's your instincts, there is no mental chatter going on. There's nothing. You've just got a feeling like something's not right here. You can think and think and think. You don't know what it is. Do you get what I mean? So your gut will tell you. Your gut will tell you, not your mind. Your gut will tell you. You may even go to meet them. Like I remember going to meet them one day, and for some reason, I was on the phone, and I was on the phone to like a male friend called me, and it was a very casual conversation. Obviously, they're my friend, but inside I was panicking. And there was no reason, like there's no real reason, but it was like I felt this dark energy just come over me, like I was doing something wrong or something. And I literally looked at my hand and it was shaking. I was on the phone. I come off the phone. There was silence for like 10 seconds. It felt like 10 hours. And then he said something to me. And then the feeling went. But I never get things like that. Just scared for no reason out of nowhere. Do you get what I mean? When I'm on a nice date, going shopping. Do you get what I mean? It's just, what's the reason? So your gut will show up in it somewhere. It's just whether or not you want to take that award, or ignore it.
Yeah, definitely. That's a big one as well. Another one I would say is just, gifts, holidays, just big gestures, and it's not the same for everybody. It's however they're gonna love bomb you the most, whatever they feel that is gonna get you the most hooked, whatever they feel is gonna work the most on you. So for some people, it might be that constant communication. For some people, it might be quality time. For some people, I guess it's almost like a love language. Maybe they know, your love language, whatever it is, they're going to do it. So, for me, I was on holiday with this person in 2 months of meeting them. And for me, that is crazy. I don't really trust people like that. I don't know what I was doing. I was on holiday straight away. It was like a lot of gifts and going to really expensive places and restaurants and things like that. Right. So I guess in a way that is almost like a distraction. It's a distraction of really getting to know the person. And again, it's that thing I always say. It's, if you walked into a shop and someone handed you 2 bags of shopping for free, you're going to be questioning that. You're going to be looking at those bags like, has the food out of date? Why is someone giving me all this free stuff? You don't even know me properly. I don't even deserve, all this stuff all of a sudden, so quickly. So again, be careful of those big gifts, those holidays, those expensive restaurants. And again, I keep saying it, someone can take you to an amazing restaurant. Someone can take you to a beautiful restaurant on the first date. Just look out for, the way it's done. How many times you go into these restaurants, how many holidays have you gone on in a short amount of time? And is it your character to even do that? Because it wasn't in mine. I met this person and it was almost like, oh my God, what am I even? I lost my head, really.
Like, how did I end up on this plane? Like,
I basically lost my head. Yeah. How did I end up on this plane?
No, seriously. The thing is as well, and you know, it's so weird. You know what I'm like as well, and I'm always quite open. You know, I will always say, yeah, these things can go either way, because even the relationship I'm in now, a lot of things happened quite quickly. Even when I was like to you, Aynur, what do you think is going on? Do you know what I mean? Literally, like, just like overthinking things. But there were things that, you know, the things that have gone on in my relationship now are completely different to then, because the amount of boundaries that I put up and down and left and right early, early. Do you get what I mean? The amount of expectations and like standards I have for like what I want and what I'm looking for, and you know, and vice versa. It's very evident when you're dealing with someone who's a healthy human being who actually looking for a reciprocal relationship, and you, through communication and through boundary setting and through a number of different tests that you should definitely run on people, you know, you can find compatibility quickly. But actually that's through like a conscious process of more looking out for these signs. Do you get what I mean? More looking at what's present and what's not present, more setting down boundaries, less of the la-di-da crap. Do you get what I mean? And actually that's okay. But to be honest, that isn't how normally empaths and codependents function in a relationship. They don't ask about, you know, things that kind of define whether or not somebody's a narcissist. They don't try putting down boundaries with people. They don't look to see what happens when other people say no to them. They don't take into account how that person treats other people. And I think, you know, one good thing to mention as well, is that although you will be being love bombed and all these things will be happening to you, you might see them go crazy and wild out on someone on the phone, or want to kill someone in the street. Do you get what I mean? All the while being like this Prince Charming to you, and they turn into this devil, and then turn back and be like, "Oh yeah, babe, you want to cuddle?" Do you get what I'm saying? It's like, what the hell is going on? Kind of got like some mental illness, which they have because they're a narcissist. But again, you're so, you know what? When you're in a needy place, you can become quite self-absorbed, you know, and like I think I was so self-absorbed that like I didn't really care as long as I was getting my attention that I needed, so desperately needed. It didn't matter how I was treating other people. I don't like that anymore. How you treat other people is very important. Very important. Absolutely. Especially when people piss you off, because that's how you're going to treat me when I piss you off.
Yeah.
Basically.
Yeah. Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's just not your turn yet. That's what I always say. You know, it's just not your turn yet, and it will get to your turn when they start treating you like that. So that's a massive one. The consistency is like, yeah, remember that one. That should be at the forefront of your list.
No, it's true.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I would just say off that bit, it's like it's almost too good to be true. You know, it's too good to be true. You know, things are happening fast, and you know, it's almost too good to be true. But I think you mentioned it be where it's like there's something that's not quite right, and it's very hard to pinpoint it. It's very hard to pinpoint it, but it's a very, very small part of you that's like, I don't know, like why it is too good to be true, you know. But listen to that tiny part of you, listen to that gut feeling. It's there for a reason, you know. But definitely too good to be true. Everything's going too perfect. Yeah, I would say that's the next one.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, yeah, because you know, when you're in a real relationship, you might have a too good to be true feeling for a little while, but it doesn't last that long. Do you know what I mean? Because you'll show up very early. Do you know what I mean? Like I showed up very early as myself. And so yeah, there's you know what? Another sign you're being love bombed as well is there significant differences in you. I think that's really important. Like you're very different. And I know they say like when you meet the love of your life, you're different. And yeah, you know, in the relationship I'm in now, do I do things that I wouldn't normally do? Yeah, of course I do. But I'm still myself, Do you get what I mean? I'm still myself. And like you're not yourself. And it's not to say like in the love bombing stage your worst version of yourself, because you could think it's a better version. Maybe you come across more loving, maybe you come across more giving, maybe you cook more. I don't know what it is that you're doing, but it's still not you. You're still so different that you wouldn't feel comfortable doing what you're doing or acting how you're acting with that person around people that really know you. You know what I mean? So you're kind of showing up a little bit fake as well.
Yeah, I think again touching on, like, you know, I was out the country in 2 months. I was doing crazy things. I was leaving my house at like 3 in the morning to get them food. I was doing the absolute most. I was just acting crazy. I wouldn't sleep all night, have 2 hours sleep and go to work the next day. It wasn't me, you know. I completely lost my head, and it shouldn't be like that. You should be able to still stick to your routine. You should still be able to, and I guess that's part of the rush. That's part of getting to know each other. You know, like, it's like you start doing things like that, like leaving your house at crazy times, coming back at crazy times. You know, I'll be gone for 2
no sleep. Oh my God, sleep deprived. You know what? Oh my God, this is a part of the thing as well. They're so, Jesus Christ, I've never been so tired in my life. Like, they're so on you all the time with communication, another question, another love song, another this, another that you literally are, your brain is fried. You can even start to lose your memory in love bombing stage, literally, because you're just like, oh, this is too much, it's too much. And you are sleep deprived, but what the thing about sleep deprivation, it increases the amount of control they can have over you as well. Who has got time to be setting boundaries when they're tired? No one. You just get on with whatever. As long as it's not going to kill you, it's all right. Let's just do it. Like, let's get on with it, because you don't have that energy, girl, you know? So, yeah, sleep deprivation, ooh, it is a killer in the stage.
That is a big one. God. Just thinking about all the time, all the crazy things I would do for this person at the beginning, all for love, you know. Definitely me.
Let's look at the comments again on that as well, because we're like, but there's so many things, isn't there? I think I've got like about maybe about 4 or 5. Yes, I was really anxious having my ex around my family and friends, because I knew I'd be different. 100%. I mean, let's face it, we're just like some feeble kind of women around there, man. Yeah, sleep deprived. Yeah. 100%. That sleep deprivation is a lot.
Relationship. Yeah.
And after you don't have any sleep, because now you've got CPTSD, you know?
I have literally never been so tired in my life. Oh my God. The way I used to turn up to work, my appearance, you know, the amount of times my managers called me into the office and just been like, do you want to go home? Like, are you okay? You don't look well today. And it was because I was running on an hour sleep, 2 hours sleep. You know, it was just hectic. It was crazy. So sleep deprivation is a big one.
Yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot. Okay, so we have got, and thank you everyone actually for being so active as well in the comments and participating. Oh, Debbie said nightmares now. Yeah, it's, oh my God, I don't miss it. I'm telling you, all those symptoms of CPTSD. You know what? It's a good thing though, because it's like, in some ways, it's parts of you that are acknowledging things that have happened on a subconscious level, because sometimes you just can't bear it when you're awake, you know?
It's just your body processing it. Just because it can't process it in the day, it'll process it for your dreams, for your nights. So you're just working through that trauma, Debbie.
Yeah, 100%. Okay, so what else will I say now? You feel like at some point you owe them. Big time in this. And it's because what will also happen in the love bombing stage is a scenario will be set up no, let me go back in it. So something will happen in that love bombing stage. Something always happens. Something in life. I don't know, an illness in the family, someone passed away, something in your work or your business that you're struggling with. Something will happen where that person needs to show up for you. And my God, will they show up for you? They will show up over and above whatever it is. If you tell them you've been locked out your house, they will send someone round to fix the lock, change the door, all this kind of stuff, all in one go, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they will intermittently talk about it in the love bombing stage. It will just come up. Do you get what I mean? It will just come up. And it might come up in the beginning like, you know what? I love how grateful you were when I did X, Y, Z for you. And you're like, oh, of course, I was so grateful because that was such a great thing to do and no one would ever do anything like that. And then they might bring it up again in a way of like, you know, I don't think I've ever had anyone do anything like that for me either. X, Y, Z. You get what I mean? And what's going to happen is then something will happen on their end. And even if you don't want to help them with this particular tragedy, you're going to feel like you have to, because you've been reminded so much about what they have done for you, this one thing. And to be honest, that might be the only thing they do for you the whole relationship, even if you're with them for 10 years. But it will keep on coming up. It will keep on coming up again and again. So yeah, I think like that's something as well. It's definitely like bear in mind, like whenever they do something for you, someone does something out of the goodness of their heart, they don't want to keep bringing it up. Might come up randomly in another conversation that's relevant, but not want to just sit there and be pondering on the fact they've done you a favour. But narcissists feel like, you know, that everything has to be so equal, not equal, tipped in their favour rather. So when they do something for you, they feel depleted. Like, why the hell have I done something for this person without a million things in return, you know?
Yeah.
Will be made to pay in the end. So there's that. We're coming obviously like to the end, to last like 5-10 minutes as well. So if you're in the chat at the moment, if you can like close the chat box and like the actual video, that would be phenomenal. And drop a comment in there as well, just to say like whether you liked it or not. I presume if you're still here at the end, whether it's now or watching on the replay, you did. And honestly, every like and comment really helps us, because it then goes up in the algorithm as content that people would want to see. And then other people who are in the same situation, searching for the same type of thing, will then know, right? So, yeah, we kind of really, really want that as well. Also, if anyone could promote on their Instagram stories or share in their WhatsApp, the link will be fantastic, because again, you might not be sharing it with someone who necessarily needs to know, but someone they know may need to know, and the more people we can help, the better.
Definitely. Yeah, please like and subscribe, guys, and share it with a friend as well. Anyone that you think this information can help.
Yeah, 100%. So if I could give you one major tip, guys, if everything that, you know, everything that you have heard here kind of applies to you, and you're worried, but you still want to check what's going on, what I would say is put down a boundary and see what happens. Okay? Say no to something and see what happens. Now that person will either react really angrily, or if you watch their behavior over the next few weeks, something will happen that you don't like. And it might look unintentional, but it is to get you back. So if you say, no, sorry, I can't see you tonight, they'll either get angry, they'll turn up and surprise you anyway, or the next 1 or 2 times you want to see them, they miraculously won't be available, even though they've been available so far. So that's one tip from me, I would say. And to be honest, it helps through all stages with narcissists. Put down a boundary and see what happens.
Yeah, definitely. That's a good way of telling me you're in that situation. I would just say, if any of this resonates with you, just run. Just start running now. Don't look back. That's my biggest tip. Don't look back. Just run to your mums, run to a family member, run to me and run into my arms. Let me save you from any more harm. If 5 or more of these, resonate with you, start running right now. You don't need an excuse. You don't need anything. Just end it and run. That's my tip.
100%. And another thing I would say, keep on the search of education. I think that would be the final thing to say, isn't it? keep on the search of education, because watch all of our videos, follow us on our Instagram as well, and you know, watch previous videos we've done, research for other people as well, because the more knowledge you have, like we said in the beginning, the more power you have to make informed decisions, and the more that knowledge can validate your experience, because it's very important for you to be validated if you've been in a narcissistic relationship, and that's part of what we're here to do. So keep the search on, and yeah, get in contact with a community that can help you. If you also need coaching, you know, me and Aynur both coach for a living, so reach out to us, and you can book in a consultation for coaching with us. And like, I do a wonderful thing called the values elicitation, which is really great. I like looking at what really drives you. So if you've also, you know, come out of these relationships and you now want to redefine yourself and look at, you know, what do I actually want in an ideal relationship? What do I actually need? Values elicitation is fantastic for that, and it can be done in like 3 sessions as well, but definitely worthwhile investment. So yeah, that's what I would say from me.
Yeah.
Any final words from you, gorgeous?
Just what we've said. just run. Just you know, just keep educating yourself. You know, that is the best way to learn what's going on, what's happening to you. There is, you know, there's a massive community on YouTube, on Instagram, what I didn't know of, you know. So even if you type in narcissist, if you type in abusive relationships, you know, so many people come up. On TikTok, you know, there is so many people out there sharing their experiences. So find a way to validate your story, you know, really educate yourself. And that's my last thing. What about you?
Yeah, that's it. I think it's been another great one. Obviously, if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe to us. Please join us again next Monday. Join with a friend. Join us in Prosecco, whatever you like. And just please, like and comment if you haven't so far on the actual video, not in the private chat. And obviously, thank you so much to everyone who's joined. It's growing each week. Like, we're new to YouTube, so that's like really, really great to see the numbers going up each week as well. And we know with consistency the community will grow, and together, you know, we'll create more and more powerful women that are done with narcissists.
Yeah. Thank you so much for watching, guys.
Thanks, guys. See you next Monday.
Thank you.
Bye.